Slinging the Biscuit, episode 20. We're back. We had a little. Are you eating a cheeser right now?
I almost did. I put it in my mouth. I took it out. That would have been a weird start. I'm just chewing.
That's okay. Slinging the Biscuit, episode 20. Welcome back to the podcast, folks. We're back after a 2 to 3 week hiatus. We were off last week because I was on the train, and Pat. I don't know what Pat was doing. Pat apparently had a hooker last week. You want to talk about that before we get into it?
But okay. We did, before we started the pod, we were talking about, well, I was talking with my friend recently. He was telling me how he was hanging out with this girl, and he took her to like a really nice restaurant on a date in Boston, and then took her to the Bruins game. So expensive dinner, drinks, food, goes to the Bruins game, eats before, goes in, drinks, food in there, ticket price, etc. And so I'm thinking that he's like telling me, he's like, yeah, like she wanted to hang out a few times before doing the sex. And essentially he spent probably could be close to $1,000 here. Just to have sex with a woman. And I was like, all right, well, at that
I'm glad
point,
how you clarified it was a woman. It wasn't like an apple or like a cheese grater or something.
It could have been
a living being.
It could have been a man. You don't know. But anyways, I'm like, all right, well, at that point, you might as well just buy a hooker. You know, if you're paying that much money to have sex, it's like, what's the difference there? I guess your morals, personally, I have not dabbled with a hooker, as we were saying, but when I was in Vegas, one did approach me, and that was the first for me. I was walking back from, where were we? Like a club or something at the end of the night, and there was this girl dressed in like cheetah. You ever seen Wonder Woman, or like the newer one? She's the cheetah, like the villain in Wonder Woman's cheetah. She looked like her, and she had like long nails, and she was purring, and she was like walking up to guys, and I was kind of just like a little drunk, not really like thinking much. She goes up to my brother, and I'm like, and then she comes up to me and she says, "You want to take me home tonight?" And I was kind of just like, give like a look, like, because it's not that easy, ever. It's never that easy. No girl's just walking up to you and saying, "You want to take me home tonight?" You know?
Where's the fine print?
Right. So then I'm like,
show me the fine print.
I gave like a look. She's like, "How's 500 sound?" And I'm like, nah. And then she starts fucking lashing out at me. And my brother, she's like, "You guys are cowards. Like, you guys
know
are
what
cowards."
You should have done? You should have lowballed her, be like, I wouldn't go dime over 7.5.
Yeah.
750? No, 7.50, like $7.50.
Yeah, you're not worth it. I started chirping back at her though. I was like, I was just like, no, I just don't actually need to pay to have sex, and definitely not with you. I just started giving her back. She was trying to like, "Oh, you coward. You guys are scared of a good woman," or something. Like, if you're that desperate, I don't think you're that good. She was just getting a little mad. Then we saw her later, like, walk into the casino. She was going up to a lot of dudes. She was having an off night. Desperate.
Maybe she's a great woman. Maybe she's making a great egg salad sandwich, or maybe she makes a mean lasagna. You'll never know. You passed up on that opportunity.
Yes, because listen, she's a hustler. I get it. She's doing what she's got to do to make $1, and essentially that's what we're doing here with the podcast. You know, we're just a bunch of hookers at the end of the day. You know. Yeah. You know,
life gives you lemons. You make egg salad sandwiches, and you take a hooker home. That's the moral of the story here. I like it. We're off and we're rolling. We're hot and we're horny for this episode because we haven't been on in 2 weeks. We're excited. Also, haven't talked to Pat in almost 2 weeks. By the way, where are you at? I'm in Vancouver, by the way, for those wondering.
I'm still in Marshfield, Mass. If for the video version you guys can see. You see the guy chirp me about I was wearing the Maine hoodie, and then obviously I have this in the background. He's like, "Yo, where did Pat go to school? Did he go to Maine?" I'm like, what makes you think that?
No, he's definitely a New Hampshire kind of guy.
So give a little update on your travels.
Yeah, the train journey was nice. It was smooth, beautiful weather. Coming into Vancouver Thursday morning was awesome. Right at the sunrise, it was visually stunning. I've been here for 3 days, been skating, been getting some work in, and dude, it's gonna be a rough 2.5-3 weeks here. It's been a rough couple days because we're trying to cram like 3 months of work into 3 weeks because rinks in Canada have been shut down for so long, and we're trying to get a full off season into these 3 weeks. I'm being mentally pushed to like
Really?
like right now, like mentally to like try to grasp concepts fast. We gotta hit the ground running. We're trying to do literally 3 months of work in 3 weeks. That's what we're trying to accomplish. And
A month a week?
basically, it's like a compressed college schedule. And I never did well with school, but I'm trying here. I'm not gonna be ready. I'm not gonna be ready for the start of the season. I don't believe we have enough time to get myself ready. I think a lot of the progress is really going to translate when we start skating in Sweden and we start playing exhibition games and getting the kinks out.
And do you mean like because you had the injuries and you're just getting back into it, like you don't feel you're going to be like 100% like prime form by the start of the season?
Yeah, I feel like in a normal off season, like you just add layers upon layers upon layers. You finish the season, you get some rest, you feel good, you feel fresh, you start working out, you start building some strength, building some stamina, some conditioning. You get on the ice, you start refining the fundamentals, get that base set, then you build from there. Whereas opposed to like right now, like I came home from Sweden in end of November, beginning of December. The rinks were shut down from then until I believe it was like the end of, was it beginning of May? It was in that April-May time slot they opened up. And then they shut them down right after. So rinks opened up really in July, and that was really the first time that they were open since I came home. And then, yeah, I had the outdoor rinks, but it's not the same because you can't practice systems and puck placement on an outdoor pond. And then when the rinks were open, I had that knee injury that I was trying to fix, which was kind of tough. And just like I haven't had the consistent reps, I haven't been able to build off anything. So like I'm month 1 of the off season right now. We're trying to cram it in a short period of time.
It's fun. It's funny. Summer, I usually take a couple. I don't know if you do the same, but like I'll usually take a good couple months off, like April, May, before getting back in. But obviously, I'm in a similar situation, kind of because like I didn't play last year, so then I took the 2 months off, and you like start going. You feel rusty when you first like get back a bit. But I found that like, how long have you been there or like back on the ice? Just like a couple weeks, you said.
In Vancouver, it's been 3 days. Off season wise, it's been like 3-4 weeks. Maybe.
I think you'll be surprised how much better you'll feel next week, even. From my experience, like I had a 3-on-3 league that I started up in July, mid-July, and it was like the first real like, all right, I'm competing against high level guys again for the first time since, I don't know, it's been a little bit because I didn't play a season, so I had a game that I was just rusty, like the first one, and like my hands were off, my timing, like playmaking was off, and I like left the game, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like, and then I skated a few times in between, went back, felt fantastic, like the last 2 weeks. I think give yourself more credit that you'll be able to pick it back up faster than you think, is what I'm saying.
I think the problem more so as a goaltender is like there's a feel to the game, and obviously like you and I are very different scenarios and setups that we're in, but like as a goaltender, like yeah, it's nice all summer to hammer down on the technical aspect and like get my game, my structural game intact, but then you got to apply it, you got to make reads and that kind of stuff. I do think my first 1 to 2 preseason games will be dog shit. And it's going to take some kinks, and then game 3, game 4 of the preseason will be a little better. I'm ideally hoping that game 1 of the regular season will be when I'm ready to go and I'm at my best.
Yeah.
Maybe we get it done earlier. I don't know, but I think that's what I need to do to get back on top of my game for the start of camp or the start of the season.
That makes sense. I feel like I'll have a similar experience with preseason games. Feel rusty, but by the season we should be flowing.
It's exciting though. Exciting. Hockey's coming back, and I'm starting. You're gonna be starting soon. Like I think people listening, everybody's getting around to starting the season. Speaking of starting, we got to give a couple quick shout outs. Tyson, this guy is our viewer of the week. Dude, every week it's like clockwork. Like every week he posts a video on Instagram of him listening to the podcast while he's plowing the fields. So buddy's probably in the tractor right now listening while he's mowing those fields. So shout out to you, buddy. We love you. We appreciate it. We notice you listening. Also, a shout out to Clemson. Comment of the week. He said he ran over a squirrel with his car, turned on the podcast, and the car backed itself up and brought the squirrel back to life. So again, We're doing great things over here. We're basically treading water.
Revived a squirrel.
After he just got flattened like a pancake by, a RAV4 or something.
Yeah. Dude, that's crazy. Not only do we save humans' lives, we save squirrels.
Yeah.
We're pretty good.
A lot of animals.
Shout out to that guy.
Yeah, shout out to you, Clemson. Side note, we have no update on the potential diaper sponsorship after my dad shit his pants in public in the last episode we recorded. I hope we do have an update on that soon. That would be nice. Yeah, my dad did shit his pants. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Did he give you shit? For telling the story? Pun intended.
I'm sure he tried calling or texting me, but I had no service in the mountains, so I haven't heard about it yet. I guarantee he's going to listen to this. He's gonna call me. Dad, I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. No. We were going to talk about the free agent signings, but I did have the hooker talk penciled in, so that's kind of nice. A good little segue.
But let's we can chat that though.
But the hooker?
No, about the free agents if you want.
I get asked this question quite a lot. Like, what's the story behind the Slingin The Bizkit name? Haven't talked about this in the podcast yet. There was a local radio DJ in Winnipeg. I've been talking to him for a little bit. His name was TJ Connors. Like, we were talking about like trying to get the podcast going, and it was his idea. He came up with Shooting the Biscuit is what he came up with. And then him and I tried to get the podcast off the ground, and it just never came to fruition. And when Pat and I started talking, I was like, well, it's Slinging the Biscuit. So that's kind of...
Here we are.
Yeah, here we are, 20 episodes in, man. 20 episodes, 20 weeks in.
That's funny. The guy Mike Stud just dropped an album. He goes by Mike now, but there's a line in one of his songs he says, "Rollin' like I'm Fred Durst." So I was kind of like, I knew there was some obviously meaning behind it. I'm like, what is this rolling? Why does Fred Durst roll? Why is he rolling? So I checked it up. Sure enough, Limp Bizkit.
He's rolling, baby.
He's rolling. Like, okay.
Did you happen to see his look that he had for Lollapalooza recently?
No. Let me check that out.
It literally looked like somebody's grandpa came on stage and was trying to start singing like Nookie and brick stuff. Like, the guy's got the gray hair. Like, he's got the... I believe it was a goatee look. Yeah, like he looks like somebody's... It's like, who let their dad up on the stage to start singing Nookie? That's not Fred Durst.
He wore a wig.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Because he's bald, man. He's a bald guy, and he wasn't wearing the red cap. No, like it didn't feel like Limp Bizkit, but...
No.
It's not a typical Limp Bizkit performance. But did you happen to see... I had this penciled in here. Cascasio taking shots at us in the community?
Well, you mentioned it to me. Was there more to it? You said that he finally did a video with 2 people the community likes or something like that?
Yeah. I somebody sent me a screenshot. He was posting in a Facebook group in the community or whatever, and he's like, hey, I posted a video with these other 2 YouTube goalies, whatever, that the community actually likes. Here's 2 guys that I'm with the community likes. Because I remember somebody brought up our podcast in that group for a while, and they're like, why would you go on the podcast? And he's like, oh, well, I'll look into it. And then, what happened and whatever. And he's charging kids $125 to, deal drugs in podcast format in a parking lot. Somebody actually, do you see that DM somebody sent us about that?
Did I? I probably did.
Somebody sent us a picture they made a meme.
Yes,
yes. Yeah, they put Casimir's head on this guy dealing drugs in a parking lot. And he was given, like, the Apple Podcast logo to the other kid. It was hilarious. Whoever sent that in, please resend it to us. We'd like to reshare that on the Biscuit Instagram page.
That was funny as shit, actually.
But yeah, point being more so is
Cask.
The cashew milk.
So you think he's bitter that we talked about him charging kids?
You know what? This is what drives me nuts about the community. And Pat and I talked about this over text last week briefly. Is that, like, I got no problem with anybody in the community. Like, anybody making videos, anybody doing Instagram, YouTube, whatever. Like, but if you make a mistake and, like, you fuck up, like, if you're charging minor children $150 for a podcast appearance, like, that's not cool. If you want to come out and say, hey, I made a mistake, I shouldn't have been doing that, no problem, man. It's water on the bridge, let's move past it. Like, if you want to come on our podcast and say, hey, Trav, Pat, $150. All right, I get it. We're a legit podcast. We're YouTubers. Okay, you want $150. But to ask...
Right.
A little girl or a little boy, like, what is wrong with you, man? Like, come on. Like, I mean, you're not that guy. You're not that guy.
Yeah, it's like he's not struggling for cash.
I get $750,000. He just signed a deal in the Swedish Elite League, man. Like,
I get that hustle. Like, we're trying to make money. The kids obviously don't have money. They're just kids trying to start a podcast, doing their thing. Maybe it's his way of just saying no to them, too. Like,
actually, that's a really good point because I can't remember who. Somebody messaged me this week and said, Trav, have you ever thought, and actually they might have commented on our YouTube page where the podcast is up in video format, but they said, Trav, have you ever thought he's asking $150 to separate the real podcast from the pretend podcast? And I said, well, why don't you just punch the podcast name into Google? Instead of typing out this big email where you're like, give me $150, I'll send you the PayPal invoice, just punch up, Slingin The Bizkit. Okay, they're not a real podcast. Okay, they are a real podcast. $150 or I'm not going to reply to you. Like, just, I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
I'd be curious to find out if Slinging, that's us, Spittin' Chicklets, charges the athletes when they come on. Or no, sorry, pays the athletes if they come when they come on. I'd be curious if like their agents work out a deal with them. And
maybe I'll text Dale Weiss after and I'll see if how that
that'd be
happens.
interesting.
Out of curiosity, see what he says. Speaking of dirt bags or the community people we got to talk about, our headliner for today, Kane Van Gate, our boy. I figured people ask about this all the time. I figured let's make it a headlining topic.
He's buzzing a bit on the tube, eh?
Yes, but first, before we get into that, we got to talk about another type of buzzing. The folks at manscaped.com, the presenting sponsor for this podcast, baby.
We are buzzing hard.
Back to school special. Pat, take it away.
Well, if you're going back to school, mainly college, I just want to point out, like, September's the biggest month for sex. In college, it's September and January. You go home for summer. It's a long time. You're not really having sex in summer, and you can't really hook up because you're living with your parents still. You let the bush go a little bit. Then you go back to school, and it's sex central. Everyone's looking for it. That first week, syllabus week, if you go into syllabus week not shaved and you get a reputation, people talk. The girls talk to each other. Guys talk to each other. People are going to know, oh, syllabus week. You go into you get in your syllabus next week. Ooh. So-and-so is a bush. It travels like wildfire. So you want to be smooth with your Manscaped items, whether it's the lawnmower or, the tees, anything you want to know. Just let people know that you're bush-free because of Manscaped. I think that goes a long way, especially in September. So don't be stupid and buy it with the code BISCUIT.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too. Like, you're in college, guess what? I'll fill you in for an appointment in D slot because when you take care of the bush, man, like people are going to be a lot happier. You're going to be lighter in your feet, and it doesn't just stop there. Like it doesn't stop at your bush, your balls, or any of that kind of stuff. Like if you're Italian, like those guys that have like the chest pubes that just like curl out of their shirt. It's kind of greasy.
They get the wrong idea. They figure the carpet matches the drapes.
Yes, the carpet goes all the way throughout the house. It's the same design throughout the entire house.
Now, if you're saying you got a little curl coming out, and they, hey, you want to hang out today? They look over quick and see maybe you had a beard. They're like, oh, he might have then you turn and show them that you have this T-shirt on. They then will go home with you because they know you have a clean shaven genital area, maybe even your chest.
Well, and here's another thing too. Maybe you're into bushes. I don't know. Maybe you're into it. And you want to deceive somebody to let them think that you don't have a bush. So you take the lawnmower, use it as a beard trimmer. This is my personal beard trimmer. It's the best beard trimmer in the market. So you trim your beard, get it all tapered up, doctored up. You use it on your chest so those curls aren't coming out. But you keep the bush because that's your identity. That's who you are. So you don't shave the thing. Sadly, she's going to be in there for a little bit of a disappointment and quite the surprise when she finds out you still have it. But everything else will be looking good from the bottom up with manscaped.com. Like we said, you got to go to manscaped.com, use the promo code BIZKIT, Biscuit, like the podcast, Slinging the Bizkit. You're going to get 20% off. You're going to get free international shipping. You live in Uganda. You live in Pakistan. You live in, Brazil.
Wakanda.
Or Greenland. Greenland. They're the Eskimos.
I hear they're a big country for bushes that need to be shaved.
Yeah, I heard they let it just like layer on. They pack on the bushes. So if you're in Greenland or Denmark, you get one of these, you're rolling your Eskimo friends, you're going to be the talk of the igloo, the talk of the town, So go to manscaped.com, pick up 20% off, free international shipping. You get some gitch, you get some ball cream, you get the lawnmower. It's wireless, 90 minutes of battery life. So if you are one of those like people in Greenland with huge bushes, just get two. Then you got 180 minutes of battery life.
You can two-hand it too.
Yeah. Twice the speed. You can really start just rolling it in. So thanks to Manscaped for being our presenting sponsor. And make sure you pick up some Manscaped stuff. Speaking of a guy who has a bush, let's talk about KVG. That guy. You know the clip from Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay when they have the topless party.
No, I haven't actually thoroughly watched those movies yet.
Okay,
I need to do that.
So there's like a brown dude. He's hosting a party, and he's telling everybody, take your pants off. We're doing like a bottomless party. And then he takes his pants off, and he's got like this massive bush. It's like Osama bin Laden's beard. That's what they're saying in the movie. You know what I'm talking about, or no?
I think so.
Okay, yeah. KVG, that's that kind of guy. That's what he's packing under there. So he needs to get a little bit of Manscaped.
He should, before it's too late.
Everybody needs a little bit of Manscaped. But the whole theme was just like people in the community that like aren't... I don't want to say they're not nice people, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that maybe like I'm not fans of that are nice people. I think everybody in the community does something good. In one way or another. I'm not a fan of the way some guys do business. Like Pat and I talked about this, is that so many guys in the community are just like looking out for themselves. Like, how do I put money in my pocket? How do I put views on my account? And I don't care about anything else, you know? And yeah, it's a short lifespan. It's a short shelf life when you're making videos or you're on Instagram, because, I mean, that's the name of the game. If you're relevant, you're making money. If you're not relevant, you're not making money.
Yeah.
People ask me about, the Kane Van Gate thing all the time. I don't have a problem with them.
Did you guys beef? You guys beef that I fill me in.
So basically, this is what happened. We're talking like 4 or 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So this is when I was first getting started, and basically in a nutshell, it was just him and I. It was the only people making remotely anything goalie related. You sprinkle Jeremy How to Hockey in there, Pavel Barber. That's really the hockey community at that point in time. And I was going through some customer service issues with a set of Brian's gear that I got. And, Keith, Kaner's, his real name is Keith. Keith and I are chatting over DM or whatever. And he said, "Oh, what's going on with the whole Brian situation?" I'm like, here's the situation. Like, I bought this gear. Some things were wrong on it. Some things weren't done properly. I'm trying to get it fixed. Here, I got this video I'm going to post. You tell me what you think about it. And I think he messaged me something along the lines of, like, you shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be posting about this. I'm like, well... yeah, maybe not, but if the company's going to tell me to go get fucked and they're not going to fix anything, well, I'm just going to put a video out about it. Maybe that'll get something fixed. I don't want to sound like a Karen. I know I am a Karen for doing that, but that's how you get problems fixed these days. You post about it, right? Somebody will finally, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I did actually hear that story. I didn't realize it was the same person. The hockey, I don't know if you want to call it the hockey social media community, if you will, it feels weird to me, man. I'm not very involved in it. You're pretty more in the mix with it, maybe because you're a little more established. But I don't know. I can't speak about Kane Van Gate. I haven't met him or even chatted with him. I haven't met a fair bit of them, but it just feels like kind of a cheesy community. Like, I don't know.
Hold on for a sec. So this isn't even the issue that I had. The issue that I had, for me personally, was, so I sent him this little video to kind of take a look at, get his 2 cents on it. He tells me, yeah, you shouldn't do it, whatever. And then I get a big message from one of the reps at Brian's. It's like, hey, he was talking to Keith, and he told me that apparently you're trying to sandbag us, you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that, blah blah blah. He sent them the video that I hadn't posted yet, and so I messaged him back. Yeah, so I messaged him back. I'm like, dude, like, what's your problem, man? Like, I asked for your 2 cents in confidentiality and in faith that you were gonna just give me your 2 cents honestly, and you're going and squealing on me to the whole community. Like what's your problem? And I remember the guy was trying to dodge it, and he goes into his character or whatever, trying to be like, oh, well, I'm just a beer league goalie, just trying to make YouTube videos or whatever. I'm trying to get scouted in the NHL. Like, no, listen, I get it. You have the same jokes you recycle over and over, and you've done it for the last 5 years. Cut that shit for a second and talk about the issue that you just created out of nowhere. That does not need to be here, but you created this. And so, long story short, I'm trying to call him on, and he blocked me or whatever. And so be it.
He's a snitch.
The part that really kind of put me over the edge was, so I'm working with Bauer at the time. This is when Bauer was still giving me free gear, and the backstory behind that. So the guys at Bauer gave me a full set of gear. Great, I enjoyed it. This is the 1S gear like 4 years ago. It all broke, fell apart. They said, send it back, we'll give you a new set. Send it back, they give me a new set. That stuff, I use it, it falls apart. Send it back, we'll get you a new set. So I send it back, and I'm like, hey, can I get my new stuff? The guy tells me basically, like, go get fucked. You're not getting anything back. See you later, sucker. Right? And I'm like, what is going on? So I'm messaging the rep one day, and he's just like, hey man, like we can't be working if you're gonna be beefing with Keith or whatever. So send him a message and maybe make things right. And I'm like, well, I got my gear taken away, so I mean at this point they got me by the balls. I'll send him a message, whatever. So he blocked me on Twitter at this point in time. I haven't blocked me on Instagram. I sent him a message on Instagram, and seeing no reply. I'm like, hey man, like I was chatting with so and so at Bauer. Just wanted to reach out. Hey man, let's try to make amends. And seeing no reply, right? And the thing is that the community's tight, right? Like everybody in the community knows about everything. Like people know about me, I know about everybody else, like especially in the goalie community. And things just kind of snowball from there. One person says one bad thing that leads to another, and hence why I have the reputation that I have in the community is kind of being like I really don't care about many things. Like if I don't like you, I'm gonna put it out there. If I love you, I'm gonna put it out there as well. Like it's just you get what you see when it comes to me with this kind of stuff. And that was basically my issue with him, is that he started an issue that didn't really need to be there. Couldn't take responsibility for it. And yeah, you listen, like I do some things that I shouldn't sometimes. Maybe I post a video that I shouldn't. Maybe I say some things that I shouldn't. And this is the understatement of the last 5 years of my career on YouTube, is I do things that I shouldn't. But they put up views, whether they like it or not. I'm still somewhat relevant in the community. And the guy wouldn't take responsibility for the issue. And he's bad mouthing me behind other creators and whatnot, and trying to creating a bad reputation for me. And so be it. Like I said, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I don't appreciate that. And that's literally my beef with the guy. I haven't talked to him since. Right. And it kind of irked me that the Bauer rep was trying to. I don't know if it was more of a big dick thing or trying to just like screw with me. Like send him a message, apologize, let's make things right, and we'll get you some gear out. Okay, here we go. Look, here's a screenshot. I sent him an apology. He read it, never replied. Well, then the Bauer rep never replied to me either. So that's great.
Yeah, I don't love that move, dude, because we've talked. People are snaky, man. Yeah, it's hard to trust a lot of people. I'm trying to search on my Instagram.
The community's full of snakes, man. Like honestly,
I think it's like, the world is full of snakes.
And the thing that another thing that I didn't like was that I remember like 4 or 5 years ago, like I was finished up my last year junior. Or about to, whatever. I made a GoFundMe. I said, hey, like, here's a GoFundMe. Give me a couple bucks. Maybe I get some new gear for college. Here's some money for college, whatever. Because at the time, I'm making like $20 a month off YouTube. But I'm not making any money. I'm in school trying to like further my life. And I made a GoFundMe. I think I ended up making like $500-700 off this GoFundMe, which was kind of cool, I thought at the time. But I got lit up for it. Was I in the wrong? Looking back now, probably yeah. Because look, my YouTube career blossomed. Now this is my full-time thing. Now look back, I shouldn't have done it. But at the time, it seemed like something that was kind of essential if I wanted to make that next step to doing what I did. I remember he was filming his videos or whatever for a couple of years, and he stopped posting all of a sudden. He said, "Oh, I'm going to put it towards making a movie, making a movie documenting my beer league or whatever." And he started a GoFundMe or a fundraiser, Kickstarter, whatever they call it. And the community gave him like $12,000 worth of pledges, right? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this guy's already filmed the movie. Like he filmed everything. He's just taking deleted scenes, put it into a movie, and people are giving him $14,000. I was like, this guy gets praised for starting a Kickstarter for $14,000, but I get slaughtered online for trying to afford a new set of gear. Like I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff.
I've seen it like with people who make, I don't know, like say sketch type videos who then will go film a movie. They need the fund to film the movie. I've seen that, but if you're just using like videos you already filmed, there's no like production, actors, etc. that you have to pay for. Setting like you don't have to pay to use like a restaurant for a scene, stuff like that. Like there's no money really. That's kind of questionable, no?
I thought it would. And again, this is just the face value information I have. I could be wrong. I could have the story completely incorrect. I'm just going off of what I know. But so he makes like 10, 12, 14 grand, whatever it is, off this Kickstarter, and now he puts this beer league movie together, and he's selling the damn thing for $15 a head, $20 a head to buy the movie on iTunes or wherever he's streaming it at. And I'm like, what? Like,
did you watch it,
man? I'm not buying that. I might get it if somebody pirates it and sends it to me. I might have a chuckle, but I'm not going on my way to buy it. And it's also like, with all due respect, it's the same jokes and the same story recycled over and over and over. He's been doing it for like 5, 6, 7 years now. Like I'm not entertained. It's like the On the Bench boys. I know you're kind of close to the On the Bench boys. I've met them. Steve and Ryan, honestly, really fucking good guys. Yeah. Are they fans of me? Nope, but I'll say they're good guys. But as far as what they're creating, it's the same joke over and over. Like I can only listen to the same movie, the same song, so many times. Agree or disagree?
Well, I do agree that I'm not gonna bash on OTB.
This is just on a creative level.
Yeah.
On a personal level, 'cause I know you know them personally,
did
and I do.
become good friends with them. But I mean, with anyone in like creating, right? Like, it gets tough because then you have to keep evolving and like, I don't know, if refreshing your content and kind of you don't have to necessarily change, do a full 360, 180 or whatever you want to call it, but like, you gotta definitely have to look for ways to keep it feeling new, I guess, right? Which is tough. That's a hard thing to do. So that does happen to a lot of people. So I could see this guy Kane Van Gate, that if he's been
Mr.
doing
Banner.
the same joke, same, I don't know, video or whatever, same content for a good 6 years now, that it would feel stale for sure. That I do agree that that's something that people have to do, but it's tough to accomplish.
And hey, I want to clarify one thing to make it very clear. Anybody in the community, I don't have a problem with them. Anybody who's creating, I have nothing but respect for, right? And obviously there's a little issue, or I don't want to say even a few, just like a misunderstanding between the two of us. Hey, he wants to reach out and say, listen, buddy, let's make amends. I'm okay to admit, hey, listen, I made a mistake. You made a mistake. Let's mend that bridge, right? But the point being, the problem is that, whether we're talking about Keith, we're talking about Casimir, like, people make mistakes, people do fucked up shit in the community, and they just want to sweep it on the rug, pretend it never happened, and carry on, as opposed to like, I make a mistake, I'll admit it. Listen, I did some stuff that I shouldn't have here. My apologies. So, I don't know. I don't know really what else to add to that outside of
I think just that I'm not big on the. I don't know if I'm big on the community. Like, you just gotta be careful with. But that's any. I'm not necessarily the hockey YouTube community. It's any community in general. I feel like a lot of people are snakes, especially like you hear all these big YouTubers talking about how they use each other. Like, how much can I get out of this relationship, and then just move on to the next thing, which you got to be careful and aware of who you're putting your trust in, I guess. Like, you tell me these things about, like, I don't know Kane Van Gate, so I can't really say, but like, you tell me that he did that, and I'm not like shocked by that. I feel like that's a trend that you'll find that people will do that to us. You're like, what the fuck? Like, we talked, and then you just snitched on me and like told them. Like, I feel like it'll be a common thing that we'll see if we keep evolving in this world. So we just have to be careful.
You stay in the community long enough, you start seeing, you see all the guys that are doing that kind of stuff. And we talk about over text, a lot of these guys like to snake you behind your back, and then they try to keep a squeaky clean good guy look, like nothing's ever bad on camera. And maybe I think I'm a little bit more different than you, because I don't think you're anywhere near as extreme as I am. But it's almost the opposite. It's like, if I'm going to say something about you, I'm going to put it out there in public, and we'll try to make amends behind the scenes, and then whatever happens. But I think it's just the way that I was raised, man. I just always was raised to like own up when you fuck up and move on and forgive.
I'm all for it. If I have a problem with someone, I will happily say it. But I'm not the type to go talking for no reason, So but hey, if there's a beef, I want to have a beef. Honestly, I hope someone starts talking shit about me in the hockey world, so I can. Maybe
I'll post a picture of you on Instagram next week and be like, Pat and I are no longer doing the podcast. I fucking hate him.
Should we stir the pod and have a comeback?
Should we? Maybe what we should.
We're talking about it right now on the pod.
Hold on. We should do. We'll leave it on the podcast. We'll put it up on Instagram and on YouTube on our personal pages. Yeah. And I'll make a post that like, I hate you. We're no longer affiliated. We're not working on the podcast together. You do the same for me. And it'll get the people that don't listen to the podcast to what went on. We'll have a comeback episode.
We'll have a comeback episode. Yeah.
It'll be addressing the beef, and then everybody will listen. We'll blow up. We'll get like another Manscaped deal, and then we'll carry on, and we'll be rolling into the.
It's not a bad idea. I feel like there's a lot of YouTubers who do that. They stage beef. I think it wouldn't be so weird. It's kind of smart though, marketing wise.
You want to stage a beef next week? What are you doing on Tuesday next week?
You want to stage a beef? Should we take a week off of the pod, pretend like we're fighting?
Maybe we'll do that next. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let me take a look at my calendar for a second because actually, not next week, but the week after is my travel week to Sweden when I'm flying out and whatnot. So maybe that's the week on Monday because I fly out on the Tuesday, the 24th. I believe it's 24. Whatever. So on Monday, we'll make a beef post. We'll get people thinking about it. It'll give me a nice week to recover from flying overseas, the time change, and then the week after we'll come back strong. What do you think?
I'm in for it. Yeah, it's been a while since I've had a good beef.
Okay. We'll do it. We'll post it up, and we'll get people talking. I think this is the way to go, my friend.
Yeah, we could do a full in and do fucking rap battle.
Do we want to keep it classy or do we want to chirp at each other?
No, we'll keep it classy. But maybe in the next beef, we'll see how this goes, and then the next beef, we could just full on like pretend like we're just in a heater of a personal beef.
Pat sends me pictures of his wiener late at night, and I will post them because I hate him.
I'm gonna blackmail him.
He's gonna PayPal me 500 yen.
Trav's just mad. Trav's just mad because I banged his girl when he was in Sweden.
Which one?
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great.
Well, hey, what an
dude!
episode.
Wouldn't that be hilarious? Beef though. Like you're in Sweden. You're like, I just found out Pat was banging my girl when I'm over here.
You know what'd be great is if like I haven't. So the place that I'm living at, I haven't seen it in person, but I've seen pictures. Is if I come home and I walk past the front window and I look in the window and there's Pat, banging whoever I've been seeing, and Pat's just teeing off and he's got the look like, and he's just going to town.
You're just mad that I've been slinging my biscuits into your girl.
Slanging your biscuits with a side of gravy, baby.
That's great. It'll happen.
You ever knew that's sausage gravy with a side of scones?
Yes. Crepes.
Well, yes. What do you say we cap the podcast here? 43 minutes. We'll keep it nice and short.
Sure.
I'm on the road. I don't like editing on the road too much.
Yeah, we're getting closer to the season here, man.
Yeah,
I might sign this
weeks.
week.
Oh, you're gonna announce it? I'm giving a warning to anybody listening. If you see Pat's signing video, be prepared for 9 ads, 9 sponsors in that video.
No, I don't. I mean, fuck. If I could, I would. Yo, hit me up if you guys want to be in it.
You're going to go through 18 minutes of ads and sponsors before you say it. So
I just sign a paper at the end. I'm like, oh, yeah.
He does Manscaped, HelloFresh. He does them all. And then, oh yeah, so I signed with the Toronto Marlies.
I was thinking about doing like a fake little press conference with myself.
Ooh.
Talking.
That could be good.
Yeah. And be like, after weighing my options.
In to ask questions.
That'd be kind of hilarious, eh?
I'll Skype in. So, Mr. Shea, Team Bar, do you have an idea what your drink order is going to be?
Yeah, and I'm just like weighing my options out, and like after a lot of consideration from a lot of different teams, and you're like, what teams? How many? And I'm like, what? Like, there's only one, I'm like, it feels like you're avoiding the question. No. Anyways, after a whole list of teams, the one that I am choosing with to further my hockey career and abilities with is, and then I'll say,
you know what you could do? You could leave it on a cliffhanger. The team is, come back next video. Now you can do 18 ads.
Oh shit. Yeah, if companies, should I hit up Manscaped, see if they want to sponsor the video? You guys want to sponsor?
You gotta start somewhere. Start with the best.
I should shoot for it. I'm doing a signing video, guys.
Hey, speaking of signing, we're going to be signing off. Thanks to the folks at Manscaped for sponsoring the podcast. Please, if you like the podcast, maybe give us a rating on iTunes, on Spotify. If you're listening to video format on YouTube, if you're watching right now on YouTube, make sure you leave us a like, leave a comment down below, and support us. Get a lawnmower, use the promo code BISCUIT. Right? Depending on how you want to support, you can support me through the YouTube page with my link, or the podcast through the code. 2 very different things. I want to thank you as always on behalf of Pat and myself and Keith Van Gate, Kane Van Gate, for joining the podcast in spirit this week. Thanks to you, buddy. And we see you every Thursday. We drop a new episode at 8 a.m. Eastern. Like I said, it's on Apple, it's on Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast, and the video format on YouTube. You want to see Pat's reactions to the dumb shit that comes out of my mouth? Go subscribe to the Biscuit YouTube channel right now. Outro song, Typhoons, Royal Blood. Thanks for watching.
Love it.
All right.